Okay, go.
We need to begin with a roll call by the secretary of the previous meeting's minutes.
Which lot have you got?
What's that?
Which lot have you got?
What's the number on it?
35.
35.
Okay, do we want the minutes read?
Or they need to be read.
All right. The last meeting was October 13th, 2013. This was our annual meeting. The attendees were Victoria Hughes, Becky Pettis, James Pettis, and John Hall and his friend Julie Ann. After lunch, the annual meeting was called to order at 2 o'clock by Victoria Hughes, President. The minutes of the last board meeting were read by Becky Pettis, and the motion passed to approve these. The officers present provided updates to the additional guests on several ongoing issues as follows. Gates. The reliability of the gates is an ongoing situation. James Pettis advised that so far this year the association has spent approximately $4,900 to repair the front entrance gates and keep them operational, but they are still not reliable. Part of this amount, about $1,600, was spent to put the underground wiring in conduit in an effort to prevent the electrical components from shorting out. He suggested that we solicit bids to replace the operators, at least on one side. Becky Pettis seconded, and the motion passed. Road ownership. Victoria Hughes advised that the legal opinion from Watson Sewell is not ready yet, as they are researching each individual deed. As an association, we cannot obtain insurance until ownership is established. Washout at the end of White Oak. The severe washout at the end of White Oak is worse now after the heavy rains this summer. Since it is likely that the legal opinion will show association ownership of this portion of our roads, Victoria advised we should pursue repairs in the near future. James will solicit bids. On the questionable transaction, there is no update from the local sheriff's department or FDLE regarding the status of the investigation. Trespassing and use by non-owners. Trespassing continues to occur, though this has been widely reduced. James recounted the situation regarding the trespasser that disabled the gates in order to unlawfully enter the property on October 11th, 2013. This trespasser was detained until the sheriff's department arrived. He was questioned briefly, then given a verbal warning. Victoria will contact Holmes County Sheriff's Department to determine what their position is and whether this action should be considered breaking and entering. She also advised that the board should consider fencing the perimeter of the subdivision and the installation of cameras at some of the problem areas. On road maintenance, James advised that John Sharp has been hired to make comprehensive repairs to the drive at the front gate, including the addition of gravel and another culvert. This work has been delayed due to more rains and flooding in the area affecting the quarries. The contractor believes that the work can begin in November. In other areas of the road, we are adding rock to the deepest ruts. As these ruts get deeper, it becomes more difficult for cars to travel the road. Also, traffic is beginning to go around these areas, causing deterioration of the grass medians. Past due balances of prior owners. There is still some concern about outstanding balances for individuals that are no longer property owners. The board believes there will be difficulty in determining what efforts were made by the prior board to collect these. This issue was part of the ballot being voted on at this time. On new agenda topics, the meet and greet held the previous evening, Saturday, October 12th at Los Rancheros, was attended by Victoria Hughes and the Pettises. Part-time handyman work. Victoria advised that the association will be in need of someone to do minor repairs and upkeep around the property on a part-time basis. James has already spoken to Hunter Meyer of Meyer Tractor Works, who was hired to do the final mowing for the season. Meyer is insured and will be capable of handling some of these jobs. Some of the other jobs may be contracted out to another individual depending on need. Treasurer's report. Becky Pettis prepared current statements with late charges if applicable, and those were mailed with the September 15th mail out to owners along with a recap of expenses. No additional payments have been received. The association balance is currently $34,186.01. Bookkeeping services. Association taxes were brought up to date last summer, and Becky advised she has solicited a couple of prices from local CPAs to maintain the books and prepare the necessary financial documents and tax filings at year end. It is agreed that this work should be independent of the board at this time. Bylaw changes. A ballot containing the proposed bylaw changes was included with the recent mail-out. The association received 19 ballot responses. The votes were tabulated and owner comments regarding some of the issues were read for the record. The association will hold the vote open for 90 days. Victoria said she will begin phoning members to encourage their participation. Becky will continue to monitor the mail and tabulate the additional votes as they are received. At this time, the floor was open for general discussion and questions. John Hall asked who owns the unsold lots in Canopy Crossing. Victoria advised that the ownership is now Ellis Lake. Ellis Lake does not have developers' rights because the developer had already turned over board governance to the association prior to the ownership change. Adjournment. This meeting was adjourned at 3:45 p.m. I make a motion that we accept the minutes as read.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? No.
No.
Ayes when? It's passed. Report from the officers. Presidential
Let's wait
report.
just a second. Why don't you vote?
She spoke up. It wasn't counted in the vote. It passed.
I'm a
Is there
property
problem?
owner.
She's a property owner. She has a right to
This
it.
is a board meeting.
This is a member meeting. It was posted as a member meeting.
No, it was not.
Yes,
You have to post that for the board meeting.
you have to post that for a member meeting as well.
This is not a member meeting.
You get the handbook.
Well, that's fine as long as she don't vote on any of the issues here. As long as the board votes on the issues, that's the way the bylaws and the covenants read.
No, actually, it allows beyond that. Yes,
No.
yeah.
Allowed to
No, it
speak.
You're allowed to
allowed to
speak
speak.
at board members. This is a member meeting. This is the first quarter member meeting of the association. We had one same time last year. This is a member meeting. All
Why
members
wasn't
are allowed to
members
speak. Excuse me? They were notified. It was put on the gates as well as the website. Does anybody have a problem with that?
I think it's a board meeting. That's what it was supposed to be.
What does it read up front?
We,
It says
Board
board
meeting.
meeting.
It says board meeting?
Yes, ma'am, it says
Okay.
board meeting.
You can no longer vote. The board has agreed that this is a board meeting and not a member meeting. However, you have every right to speak.
Absolutely, I would never restrict
no
somebody's
problem with
right
that.
to speak.
I was under the impression it was a member
Well,
meeting.
you're correct.
Did all the board members get invited to this meeting?
They did.
Yes, they did.
Okay.
Where is Mark?
He's in Portland, Oregon.
He said he was going to be setting it up with Becky via telephone.
He said if there's any issues that we need him to respond to, he told me, call him. And then
So
we
he's
can
not
respond.
here for another meeting, correct? Okay, I vote he's missed 3 consecutive meetings and he should be removed from the board according to our bylaws. I put this as a motion on the table. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say no.
No,
The noes pass in difference to the bylaws.
where's that at in the bylaws?
Well, you should be
So I can
familiar
make
with
a
them
note of it.
already. I don't have time to go through all that at this meeting, but it's in there. You're allowed to miss 3, and then the board's to remove you. President. My report as to the conditions so far, the roads are still in horrible mess. They have not been maintained in the 2 years almost since we became a board, and according to the previous president's email, in the years prior to that, they had not been maintained. I still contend that we have a huge problem, deadly problem, over on White Oak that is not being addressed. It has been 9 months since we hired someone to handle these things, and to my knowledge, there's no additional bids that have been brought in and no work done by that particular contractor. As far as the gates are still semi-operational depending on parts and time. It was voted last summer that the gates were to be, the gate motors were to be replaced and not repaired. However, we have motioned and had a repair done instead, is my understanding. There are a number of new issues as far as lot owner rights that need to be addressed further on. Other than that, I have no further, no, I take that back. I do need to bring before the membership that all 4 of the other board members outside of myself, after having been warned, performed illegal emails as a group, violating the sunshine laws of the state of Florida, and willfully did so, having been put on notice.